In our last video, we told you that a Bitcoin and crypto crash was imminent, and that's exactly what happened. Is this Bitcoin and crypto crash a black swan event? Does it signal the beginning of a bear market? Without a doubt, yesterday's session for Bitcoin and the crypto ecosystem was extremely bearish. We had been closely tracking key structures in Bitcoin, and even in the traditional market, and all signs pointed to the fact that, sooner or later, we could see a bearish climatic move as aggressive and dull as one unfolding right now. We had already warned you that the SP 500, after its failed attempt to break through a key level that was supposed to take us to distant and attractive highs, ultimately failed. This aggressive re-entry into the market, rejecting that promising bullish outlook for traditional markets, was a clear signal that the immediate trend was not going to be bullish. Since there's a correlation between the traditional market and Bitcoin, that's why we analyze it. Just take a look at the Nasdaq, the tech index we had been talking about. That breakout attempt failed spectacularly, and the downward recovery was bound to be highly significant. We had already been considering the possibility that this structure could break down at some point. And sure enough, we uploaded that video to YouTube yesterday, and the events unfolded that same day, that same afternoon, that same night. And now we have a micro black swan in the traditional market. And I emphasize micro black swan because we can't call this a macro black swan event. Just look at the Nasdaq, it's still far from a scenario that could trigger a global financial crisis. These are different things. The same goes for the SP 500. Its key support zone is still far from what we would consider a macro black swan event that could spell serious trouble for traditional markets. That's not what's happening here. Instead, we're dealing with a micro black swan, which is something we had already anticipated. Now, look at our link between traditional markets and crypto, MicroStrategy. We often use it as a proxy, and we had already said that, based on our analysis of both the traditional market and MicroStrategy, what we expected starting yesterday was a sweep below this structure, which pointed directly to a bearish climatic move. Well, one way institutions track these types of impulses is through a channel. That channel can eventually reach a range, and in my opinion, we're already there. That's why at some point, and as you'll see next with the rest of the crypto ecosystem, spoiler alert, I expect aggressive bearish climatic moves. I expect the market at major institutions to push even more fear in a definitive way, looking for structural traps before eventually moving up. And just like that, MicroStrategy, well, we'll see how they play it and with what timing, because that's hard to predict. But at some point, we anticipate a bearish climatic move that takes out the most recent low. Yes, MicroStrategy made it pretty clear what we had to expect next, a bearish climatic move. And the first warning came from the SP and the Nasdaq, which, as you saw, were trying to break certain levels that seemed to promise the sky and beyond. But they failed. And when those attempts fail, the opposite direction takes over. That was the hypothesis. And when we add what we saw with MicroStrategy, signaling this incoming bearish climatic action, we started evaluating Bitcoin in the same way. Given the media frenzy around both the traditional and crypto markets, whether it's what happened with Bybit or the hype around Solana meme coins, it all pointed in the same direction. Our theory was that smart money would soon try to inject even more fear with this bearish climatic move. Just look at where Bitcoin is right now. As I was saying, what can we take from this? Well, just like with MicroStrategy, Bitcoin could be coming off an impulse, followed by a channel, reaching the end of a range, and now standing at the doorstep of a climatic move. And now we have that bearish climatic move. In yesterday's video, we explained exactly what we would think once this event occurred, and now it just happened. But this didn't only happen with Bitcoin, far from it. We also expected it with Ethereum, XRP, and Solana. Solana's breakout is particularly significant. BNB is holding its structure, not to mention Link, XLM, or SWI. So what can we expect from Bitcoin and the crypto market now? What's the next big opportunity? I'll explain it right now. But first,
welcome to Crypto Insight, your ethical and moral channel for cryptocurrency technical analysis. Here, we really know what we're talking about. We conduct advanced technical analysis that has been developed for over 12 years. We upload videos several times a week. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, let me know and leave a comment with your opinion. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell so you don't miss the next opportunity.
let's lay all the cards on the table. Of course, the loss of this trend line in Bitcoin is significant. It's not just any event. This is something we had been considering for some time as a real possibility. And as it got closer, we gave it an even higher probability of happening. Now, if Bitcoin has lost a key structure, does that mean it's the end for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies? First, let's answer this. Look at this structure here. We call it a defense zone. It's a key area where institutions can put an end to a brutal fear injection, the kind they trigger by breaking through important structures. That's why we place so much importance on this defense zone. Now, take a look at Ethereum's chart. If we cross-reference this analysis with other information, we can see that Ethereum's defense zone is still a bit distant from this recent bearish attack on the market. What this could be telling us is that if Ethereum drops a little more, it wouldn't necessarily be the end of the world. In other words, seeing Ethereum fall a bit further is something that can happen, and it wouldn't be a reason to panic. Now, considering that Bitcoin is currently sitting in this defense zone, what does that suggest? It suggests that we could be entering a slowdown phase. We'll see how it plays out, but Bitcoin might start struggling to maintain this level of volatility. And in that slowdown, we might even see a potential market trap, because Ethereum, given the space it still has before reaching its defense zone, would allow for it. Now look at XRP. At the same time, it has also clearly reached its defense zone after this recent drop. And if we look at this asset, it still has room to create a trap scenario, meaning this doesn't necessarily have to be the end of the world. Another key point is Solana's daily chart. We've been saying for a while that Solana is financially strong, and we've been watching how they might try to play around with the loss of this structure. In fact, I remember yesterday we were looking at a POC, one that they just passed right through. That's a sign of massive bearish strength, which makes us think, just as we see Bitcoin potentially falling further as part of a trap, Ethereum, Serum Room, and X are possibly forming a trap as well, that Solana could also revisit this structure through a gradual slowdown. Because a sharp V-shaped recovery, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's highly unlikely. Of course, this could happen, but it's extremely rare. That's why waiting for a period of slowdown is the more reasonable approach. And look, we don't know the future, but soon I'll tell you exactly what we need to see in order to really confirm a black swan event and start expecting a bear market, because honestly, we're not that far from such a scenario. Not because it has to happen, but because it's a possibility given how close we are to key structures in crypto right now. But don't worry, I'll share my thoughts on what I think will happen with crypto in the medium and long term, because there are assets like BNB, Link, XLM, SUI, and others that could present major opportunities, just like Bitcoin. But before that, I want to introduce you to our private Telegram channel, which is completely free. In fact, at the time of recording this video, we're also live streaming for the community. During these live sessions, we look for trading opportunities in the futures market. We focus on intraday trades, and within this community, members also share their operational ideas, what they're working on and what they're looking for in the markets at any given moment. It's honestly very interesting. This community is constantly learning and improving. So if you're an active trader and tired of trading alone, you can join our community. Signing up is very simple. The requirements are as follows. You need to be a user of BitUnix or buy DFI. Have deposited cryptocurrencies into your BitUnix or buy DFI accounts with a minimum value of $100, and use this account as your primary futures trading account. In other words, you need to be actively trading. Once you've met these requirements, simply fill out the form displayed on the screen. It consists of just 5 simple questions, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Don't miss this unique opportunity to become part of our exclusive Crypto Insight Premium community. Come join us, we're waiting for you. Now let's take a look at BNB. The recent drop has brought it to a really interesting defense zone. But honestly, given everything that's happening in the crypto ecosystem, if they wanted to, they could push it a little lower, breaking through this level to test a structure that has worked well for this asset before. And very soon, you're going to understand exactly what we think about the market for the medium and long term. Now, looking at Chainlink, it's the same story. It could drop a little more, but that wouldn't mean the end of the world. The same goes for XLM. If it drops further to test its structure, it's not game over. Obviously, nobody likes to see how much these assets have depreciated in this scenario, where it's already down 63%, but that's another issue. And then we have SUI. Look at SUI, it's already playing this game. If it feels like it, why not? It could create a trap around its defense zone, just like Bitcoin might do. This wouldn't be the end of the world, and from there, we'd have to see what comes next. But let's get to the big question. What do we expect for crypto in the medium and long term? And here's my answer. Who the hell knows? But don't worry, I'm not going to leave you hanging. Let's break this down and reframe the question. Instead of asking what we think will happen to the crypto ecosystem, let's ask where the next big medium to long-term investment opportunity in crypto could be. Look, one thing is clear. We don't know if this is going to end up being a catastrophic black swan event that officially signals the start of a bear market. Could it happen? Yes, it could. So what needs to happen for that scenario to unfold? It's simple. Right now, we have a lifeline. If this lifeline fails, if it breaks down and doesn't recover, then we'll be able to say with almost absolute certainty that we're witnessing the beginning or confirmation of a bear market. You're realizing that we are identifying a potential market extreme in the event of its failure. Now, if we understand this scenario, and if we truly grasp how big institutions manipulate markets, then those of you following Crypto Insight Premium have just spotted a major opportunity. And don't worry, I'll explain, because if we're saying that this would be the confirmation of a bear market, what does that mean? It means we're identifying a potential market extreme in the event of failure. So if we've pinpointed an extreme, that opens a window where we can look for a long position with risk, yes, but a limited one. Why? Because if this really is a market extreme, then any move against us would be small, allowing us to close the position quickly and control our risk. But if the market does bounce from here, we'd likely have entered right at a key turning point. See how the pieces are starting to fit together? Do you get what I mean? So, not today, but in the coming days, a major window of opportunity is going to open, not just for Bitcoin, but across the entire crypto ecosystem, to look for medium to long-term buying opportunities. Because if we're wrong, our losses will be small. But if we're right, the potential upside is massive. In the next video, I'll show you exactly how to find these opportunities across different assets. So if I were you, I wouldn't miss it. If you found this advanced technical analysis interesting, let me know in the comments. Also, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video where we'll break down how to approach medium to long-term crypto investments in detail. Does this interest you? You know it. Subscribe, don't hesitate, and I'll see you in the next one.